It's been a hard day and night, and I've been working like a dog.
Are you ready to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here on With Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts on my website at syklein.com. And today we're going to kick off with a deeply significant conversation, one that reminds us of the importance of memory and resilience. We have with us Rabbi Ronald Roth, who is involved in the upcoming commemoration of International Holocaust Remembrance Day, the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, hosted by Congregation B'nai Shalom, Fair Lawn Jewish Center. And this event will feature keynote speaker Sam Rosmarin, the son of two Holocaust survivors, and will honor the families of survivors within the community. Rabbi Roth, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to begin, can you tell us why it's so important for the community to commemorate the Holocaust, especially the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz?
Well, the Holocaust was a watershed for human history. Yes, for the Jewish people, it's so important because 2/3 of the Jews of Europe were murdered. 1/3 of the worldwide Jewish population was murdered. But also for human history as well, to see how evil can overtake a society and make not only the leaders into murderers and into people without any moral standing, but also can convince others to do so. It's a terrible lesson that we need to repeat and to learn.
Rabbi Roth, thank you. The event that's coming up includes a variety of elements. I know it's going to include a short film, musical performances, and a Holocaust Torah procession. Wow, that's so meaningful. Can you describe a bit about the significance of these elements and how they contribute to the commemoration?
Well, we're very fortunate in our congregation. We have a Torah scroll that was from the city of Patsov in Bohemia in the Czech Republic that was brought to us in 1978. Over 1,500 Torah scrolls were gathered in Prague during the war. At one point, they were taken to London, and they're spread over the world as memorials. And it's on permanent display in our sanctuary. So this reminds us constantly, when we see it, of the victims. And not only that, I'm also working on a book that actually describes the names and the lives of everyone who was there. So that's a particularly important aspect for us.
Again, we're chatting with Rabbi Ronald Roth from Congregation B'nai Shalom, Fair Lawn Jewish Center, about something deeply, deeply important as we talk about the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz and recently commemorated International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and of course Yom HaShoah, which is coming right up. What an important conversation! And Rabbi Roth, I know you have talked in the past about how the Holocaust was perpetuated by a country known for its science and culture. What lessons do you hope that attendees will take away from this event, particularly in today's world?
We should never assume that just because you're educated and cultured, that means that you're moral. The two are separate. Many of the murderers in the Nazi Party were people with advanced degrees, were lawyers, and we sometimes like to think that having advanced degrees and being educated makes us immune to evil. That's a lesson we have to remember is not true.
Absolutely. And beyond remembrance, what role does education play in preventing future atrocities? How is your community engaging with younger generations to ensure that these lessons are passed on?
Well, in our religious school, we have a Holocaust educator who is on the faculty of our religious school. He teaches Holocaust in the New York City school system, and he teaches it to the youngsters in our community. He comes into their classes. They read books. There are a lot of young adult books they read. They've taken trips to Holocaust museums because it's so important that we know the specifics, and we just can't say, "Oh, the Holocaust, what was it?" But that we very clearly understand how it happened, and we are sure to educate our children about it.
And you've talked a little bit about the structure within Congregation B'nai Shalom, within the community. And I know that the community was built by Holocaust survivors and their descendants. How does that history shape the values and mission of the Fair Lawn Jewish Center?
I was very fortunate that I got to know some of those survivors. I came to the congregation about 18 years ago, and sadly, most of them have passed away. But in our building, for example, there's a large, major sculpture. The first thing you see by the sculptor Nathan Rappaport, who created the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising Memorial sculpture in Warsaw. Well, we have a sculpture that he made. It's the first thing that you see in the lobby. We want people to see that. We have a wall on the side of the main sanctuary with the name of all the families of people who were murdered by the Nazis. So we like to have these visual reminders. We've had them speak to the congregation. Unfortunately, there are a few left, but we always have made the Holocaust remembrance a central part of our congregation.
Indeed. And for those in our listening audience who may not be able to attend, what are some ways that they can learn about the Holocaust and honor the memory of the victims?
Well, certainly they should educate themselves. There are so many books at every level. Yes, some of them are hard to read, but they should read firsthand books. Read Elie Wiesel, read Primo Levi, read the firsthand accounts. Yes, it's difficult, but we have to take a look at them. We have to read them. People can go. There are many museums and exhibits throughout the year that they can go to in almost every major city of the United States. And, some people even have the opportunity, as I have had, to go to Europe to actually visit some of the places where the Holocaust occurred.
Absolutely. And, for those in our Chicago listening audience, of course, the community of Skokie is a special place with many memories of the Holocaust and a huge Holocaust survivor population, but also the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center, which you could visit at ilhmec.org. And I know that they would welcome your visits. And as Rabbi Roth has been saying, education is for everybody and it's for all ages. And I think they do just an amazing job. But again, throughout the country or throughout the world, wherever you may be listening in from, there are so many opportunities. And I think the technology and the internet, I think, has made some of that knowledge even more accessible. So Rabbi Roth, again, what do you hope that the attendees at your particular event will take away? And what actions do you hope that all of our listeners will take after they attend the event or invest in some additional knowledge and learning?
As you said, invest in additional knowledge. Read some books. There are, as we said, there are many. There are many films. A lot of people see Schindler's List. That's not the only film out there. There are many others that they can watch. And also they should look at the politics of America today and recognize about how when we have leaders who don't tell us the truth, that's a problem that can lead to great dangers. When we have prejudice expressed by leaders and those around the leaders, that also is something that people should speak out against and not allow the discrimination, because that is a real problem, I think, in America today, that we hear that there are too many people who are giving rising anti-Semitism, that anti-Semitism is rising in the United States, and you have to speak out against it.
You couldn't be more correct. Rabbi Roth, what an inspiring event that you've had, and I'm super grateful for you sharing over here. I know it was a inspiring and emotional opportunity. And where can our listening audience find the recording from this event? And I know your community is committed to continued education and programming. Where can they find out more?
Well, it was recorded on our YouTube channel. The congregation has a complicated name, but if you just go to Fair Lawn Jewish Center YouTube, you'll see the recordings. There's a lot of recordings there, but there is the recording of the event we had for International Holocaust Memorial Day.
That's amazing. And I do want to squeeze in just a little bit more knowledge over here. I know something, as I did my own research, there's a little bit about Generations Forward. Can you elaborate on the work that they do and how it connects with this event?
Yes, we are now, unfortunately, no longer at a time when there are very many Holocaust survivors left. We could talk about, actually, with the terminology, 2G, 3G, the children of survivors, the grandchildren of survivors, and those groups get together for each other because it's quite a a burden sometimes for some people to live with the fact that their parents were survivors and how that interacts with each person. And also they do educational programs for the entire community. So those later generations are doing amazing work in spreading knowledge of the Holocaust.
Well, thank you, Rabbi Ronald Roth. I appreciate all that you have done with this event, all that your community is doing. And again, whether you're in New York, New Jersey, or in Chicago, or anywhere in the world, this is an important lesson, as Rabbi Roth has been saying, in this political climate, in this world that we're in. It is important, as we say, never again. And the only way we ensure never again is by talking about these atrocities and ensuring that the education lives on. And as we've been saying over and over again, there's so many opportunities. You could watch the recording of this event from Congregation B'nai Shalom, the Fair Lawn Jewish Center, as well as, of course, find many resources online and in person. Be sure to understand more about International Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah, the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. And we'll be sure to link in our show notes as well. Rabbi Roth, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And again, speaking of show notes, if you want to be alerted when a new show drops, please get on my website, syklein.com. Check out this conversation. Be sure to share it with your colleagues, friends, neighbors by searching for Get Down to Business on your favorite podcast app. Quick break. We'll be right back.